Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Tessie. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, depending on where you are watching from. Hope you all are doing well, and thank you so much for stopping by. So still on the issue of Ahmed Bola Tinubu's camp calling for INEC to disqualify Peter Obi over the $150 million diaspora donation. And yesterday I posted a video of a senior advocate of Nigeria saying that call is not backed up by law. And here also we have a lawyer and a former director of legal services and voters education of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, setting the record straight once again. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to him before I come back for my comment.
Yes, you've heard that Peter B's supporters are planning to raise $150 million abroad for him, 100 billion naira at home for his presidential campaign. As I said, you know about these things. You were legal advisor to the Electoral Commission, INEC, and are well familiar with the law. What is the legality of that funding process? Can he and his party and their supporters do it?
Thank you. A distinction has to be drawn between Peter Obi, the candidate, and his sponsoring political party, the Labour Party. You quoted Section 225 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. And people don't realize that section has been there right from inception, right from the promulgation of the Constitution in 1999.
So this is nothing new,
it's not
really.
New. It's not
right.
New. That provision has been there. Whether it's been enforced, whether it's been tested, it's a different issue entirely, but it's been there, contrary to what a lot of people believe. Following the promulgation of the Constitution, it requires that any funds brought by any political party from abroad should be handed over to INEC. It specifically forbids political parties from receiving funds from abroad. And that is almost international best practice. In the US, for example, it is forbidden for you to bring any monies from abroad, because the belief is that it should not influence U.S. domestic policies, it should not influence U.S. elections. So you know that our Constitution is modeled along the American line. So that has been there. But curiously, it does not forbid a candidate or an aspirant from receiving or bringing any money from abroad. What the section says specifically is that any political party, it prohibits political parties from bringing money from abroad and sanctions them if they do that. The Electoral Act now sanctions those people if any political party and officers of the party who is complicit in receiving money from abroad. So if Peter Obi is raising money from abroad, or any candidate for that matter, technically speaking, the law does not forbid it, because you know the Constitution itself says for you to punish anybody for contravening the law, there must be a written law known, published, gazetted by the state. Now, there is no law prohibiting individuals from receiving money from abroad. There is the Constitution, the ground norm, the supreme law of the land, which prohibits political parties from receiving monies from abroad. So that distinction must be drawn.
Well, that is very interesting, because what you're saying is that there is a sort of legal dichotomy that between the candidate and the party in terms of raising funds.
That's correct.
So the candidate can go ahead, and is there a limit on what the candidate can raise abroad?
Well, there's no limit to the amount of money a candidate can raise domestically or abroad.
So technically, the $150 million is being talked about.
I was going to qualify that.
Okay.
I was going to qualify that. Your question was received, raised, but there is a limit to how much any candidate
can receive.
Can spend.
Okay, I see what you mean.
There is no limit to how much a person can receive,
right.
But there's, although there are limits to how much individuals can donate to any candidate, but there's no limit to how much in total, in summary, that he can receive. But there is a limit to how much he can expend for the election. That is starting from the day of notice of polls, which is given 365 days before the time, up to election day. So any money you spend as an aspirant prior to that time doesn't come into reckoning in computation of how much you can spend. But the Electoral Act says this is the period for computing how much you can spend.
So once the campaign season begins, basically.
Well, yes. If you say, some people think the campaign season begins with campaigns or with primaries,
Right.
but for our purposes, the campaign season for this purpose begins from the date that notice of election is given by the
Right. In this
by the
case,
commission.
September the 28th.
No, no. On the contrary, 365 February after
Okay,
the election was February.
right, okay.
360 days to the election.
Right, okay, 300, right, okay. I just wanted to clarify that point. So, this has always been the law, as you said, since 1999. Because, I mean, we've seen adverts from various parties in the past calling for people abroad. I mean, it's easily available on the internet,
Yes.
to donate, you know, fairly large sums of money. Has it been more a case of implementation and enforcement? Because you're saying that the law has always been there.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, had you come, I mean, you were the legal sort of person, yeah, at INEC. Had you come across that, you know, between that sort of 1999 up to when you left the place?
Yes, I was director of legal in 2007 up to about 2009. No, we did not really come across that. Recently, I've come across things dating back to 2014 and things like that. Now, there are two issues here. One is proof. One is allegations, and the second one is proof. I saw something on the internet. I've not been able to verify that personally, but political parties, especially asking their UK chapters, their foreign chapters, to raise money and remit, canvassing for people to remit money to particular accounts. Now, the interesting thing is that the law, Constitution itself, 225 says receiving money from abroad, receiving. And I'm aware, I don't know how legal some of those chapters are. I'm aware that most political parties or major political parties have branches abroad. Now, I guess you could raise money and expend it over there and running your affairs over there, but you cannot bring it into the country.
Right.
So some may argue that that's what they're doing. I don't know. There are lots. There's a lacuna of sorts. There's
All right, my people, and that is it for you all. Let's not even talk about law. Yesterday, we've been saying it. It's not the first time. We've been saying it that Nigeria is a lawless country. And in that particular video I posted yesterday, we heard the senior advocate of Nigeria saying that all these laws, we only have them in the book. I will not, let me not quote him wrongly. I will let you guys watch that part where he said that the laws, we only have them in the book. It is never enforced. So talking about Peter Obi issue, I love what Nigerians are saying. Nigerians in diaspora, they are now coming out to say that this money they donated is not to the political party. They donated this money to the candidate, which is Peter Obi. So whatever it is that Tinubu's people are saying or calling for Peter Obi's disqualification makes no sense, because the money is not to the political party but to the candidate himself, which is Peter Obi.
Yeah, I've spent my academic life writing about enforcement of judgments and laws. So I understand the point you've taken. An unenforced law is as good as no law. And that's why in the course of my speech this morning, I was just saying that it is good news that we are having election of Fences Commission. Because think about it, INEC cannot have the capacity to enforce all these laws. What you see from Section 85 to Section 90, aside from other laws, INEC cannot have that capacity. At a particular point, the former INEC chairman, Professor Jega, has stated that he had over 790 election offenses, suspects. How much does the commission have that it will begin to prosecute all those people? And that's why after the threat that any people will be brought to book, if you offend the Electoral Act, you will be brought to book, no book is brought, and nobody is brought to any book.